reviews, and we're doing the Universal horror movies here on Box Office Maniacs. And with me, as always, is Dave Decay.
Actually, it's horror month.
That's what I said.
It's Dave Decay. No, I'm still doing Doug.
That's what I also said that, yes.
Here we go. We're unwrapping another mummy movie. This one's called The Mummy's Ghost, even though, I personally didn't see any ghosts in the movie. Did anybody else see any ghosts in this film?
Nope.
I wish I would have ghosted the movie.
We really need to get some ghost reviewers in here so we can stop reviewing these mummy films.
Right.
We have The Mummy's Ghost, and once again, we are subject to not just the ghost that isn't there, but which ghosts usually aren't there, but the Tana leaves. Once again, we return to the Tana leaves. And once again, we have a person that is played by John Carradine, who gets given the task of bringing Karis back once again to get him to his bride, so once again they can go back to Egypt and take over the world or something.
The Leaf Saga continues.
That pretty much sums up the whole film right there. However, this one had a few good things going for it, actually. I actually really like Carradine in this film. I thought that he was a really good choice for the creepy guy in this film. Unlike the rest of the creepy guys in this film that have been terrible up to this point, I thought he actually did a really good job.
Yeah, I wasn't crazy about the Japanese guy, or Asian guy, or whatever he was, Korean guy, last time.
I think it was Egyptian.
Right.
The other really great thing about this movie is Peanuts. Peanuts was great in this film.
Peanuts, the dog, is the true hero of the Mummy's Ghost.
Yes, Penis the dog.
No, his name is Peanuts.
You gotta stop smoking those leaves.
And once again, the slowest serial killer in all of movie history, with the gimpy arm and the gimpy leg, can once again lift a girl into the air and walk thousands of miles.
And once again, he's also being portrayed by the Wolfman, Lon Chaney. Why? Who knows at this point?
Yeah, once again we have Lon Chaney Jr. playing the mummy, doing nothing. Dragging his arm, dragging his foot, knocking over rocks. They dug a big hole that did nothing. It never came into play. I don't think they ever even actually dug the hole.
However, as I was saying, I thought Lon Chaney put on a few pounds in the last movie. Seemed like the wrapping on the mummy here did him really good. He looked nice and slender. He looked fit. He looked like he was on the 9 leaves.
Yeah, we were watching this movie and Dave Decay was like, Lon Chaney looks cut.
Apparently, the fire that consumed him the last movie didn't do much to get rid of his mold. Apparently, he still was quite moldy, because every time he touches someone, he leaves mold.
You know what I think it is when he's off camera, he's running. He's doing the triathlon, and he gets on camera and he looks slow, because that's his thing. People think he's slow, and they turn around, he goes running right at him, and they turn around, he goes slow again, and he attacks him. I think that's the only way he grabs a hold of these people.
People come up and try to hit him with sticks, and it just does no good. They stand literally 6 inches away from them and fire their guns, even though they know it's not going to do anything, but yet there's a crowd behind them and they don't get shot either.
I love the beginning of this movie. This guy is boiling the mummy's leaves, and the mummy comes out of the woods. Apparently, he hangs out in the woods. He must have a clubhouse out there, or a tree house, whatever he hangs out in. But he's always coming out of these woods, because nobody can ever find the mummy in the woods. Because who would look for a mummy in the woods?
And the woods are located in Middleton. They're always in Middleton. And since the family from the last 3 episodes is now finally dead, now we have to curse a new family somehow, and I don't know, I gave up.
But the true climax of this movie is the chase scene where they're trying to find out where the mummy took the girl, and everybody's just running around, out in the woods, out in the fields, can't find nothing. But who's on the case? Peanuts! Peanuts got the set, Peanuts on the track. He goes and he gets everybody and he's barking at him. He's like, hey, over here. And he leads them right to him because he's a good boy. Yes, he is. He's a good boy.
Yeah, he was an awesome character. I just wish the rest of the characters were as awesome as Peanuts in this movie. Now, with that said, I actually thought that Lon Chaney brought a little bit more to the role here for the mummy. Not a whole lot, but he did drag his foot a little bit better. I think he did at one point go sideways.
Oh yeah, he was doing a side shuffle. He was doing the mummy shuffle.
I liked where he was taking down the entire museum.
Oh yeah, he went buck wild. He got too many leaves in him.
He actually showed some emotion and got pissed off and took out the artifacts in the museum because his bride that had always been wrapped up in the sarcophagus just suddenly imploded.
You know why? You should know this, Professor. You know why?
Science.
Science.
It was science. And the scientist read the coffin. And apparently the coffin didn't have like a few words like, here lies so-and-so. No, it wasn't so-and-so. It was a whole paragraph of, here lies the dead wife of Keras and Naxamun, and she was buried here, and Keras is. I mean, the whole story of the mummy was in that coffin.
It's a good thing. Otherwise, we wouldn't know what was going on.
I like the part where they dug a big hole, and then the old lady almost ran into it, but then they stopped her.
Yeah, I would have liked to see her fall in the hole. That would have been good, though.
And I like the part where the mummy kicked over a rock.
Actually, that was a pretty good plot there. They were going to, drop the mummy in the hole. I mean, if the mummy is going to go in the hole, they could have probably already got him before he got to the hole. I mean, somebody had to just walk up to him and just like, stop. And the mummy would have been like, oh, okay.
But she ran up and said, the mummy has taken the girl, and then they run after the girl, and now the girl is suddenly getting the Bride of Frankenstein look with the white hair, and goes up into some kind of train thing, shack of some sort, minecart track or something. I don't know what that was, but the mummy had to climb it, and then climb down it, and then climb it again. I felt sorry for him.
I'm pretty sure that was the mummy's treehouse out in the woods.
It could have been, but it was near the swamp.
The one thing I can say about this movie is that finally these townspeople came up with a better plan than let's all just shoot at the mummy even though we know full well it does nothing, and let's try to light it on fire even though we did that twice and it also did nothing. So their plan was, well, let's just dig a big hole because we know we can't shoot it and we know we can't burn it, so we'll just put it in this hole until we can figure out what to do. And they were like, you know what? It's not a bad idea.
I mean, how lousy of a person can you be? First of all, is to get killed by a mummy. Second of all, not being able to catch a mummy on fire who's 2,000 years old and probably with a swift breeze and, I don't know, a little spark, he probably would have went up by himself. I mean, these guys are not the best monster hunters.
This movie also had the worst ending. I thought it was terrible. It just walks out into the swamp.
Yeah, they just walk into the mud and then they sink down, and for some reason, I guess the girl who had been possessed or inhabited by the Princess Ananka started turning into a mummy, I guess. She got all wrinkly, and then they just sunk down in the mud. And then the last shot of the movie is Peanuts sitting on the shore, ever vigilant, waiting for the mummy to return so he can whoop ass once again, on guard for eternity. Peanuts.
I didn't care for the ending at all. I thought that was just dumb.
Now, out of all the mummy movies, I think this one, I don't know, I kind of enjoyed it. Even though it was goofy and stupid like the other ones, I did like Carradine a lot in the film. I did like the fact that Lon Chaney got ripped for the role, and that he did show some emotion, and he did drag his foot a little bit better. And, of course, Peanuts was awesome. So, yeah, overall, I did like this a little bit better than some of the other ones, and because of that, I'm giving it a 3 out of 5.
I did enjoy this one just a tad bit more than the last 2 films. Or 3 films. Since The Mummy's Hand. It just seemed like it was a little more, they took it a little more serious. It wasn't quite as goofy as the other ones. But still done terribly. So I would give it a 2 out of 5.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say that I disagree with you about Lon Chaney getting ripped. I think underneath those bandages he had a girdle on. Fight me. You wouldn't know. I think he had it all tightened up and tied up and sucked in. And then they just wrapped him up. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. And, yeah.
You go, girl.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I thought that this movie was okay. Probably one of the better Mummy sequels, but not super great. And I'm gonna give the movie a 3 out of 5. And Peanuts gets a 500 out of 5. Golden tombstone for Peanuts.
That's 9 Tana leaves to you and me.
And there you go. There is another Mummies movie under wraps. I don't know if there's any more. I'm sure there's probably like 17 more before the end of this month. Let's hope so. And don't forget that tonight we're doing the live scream. Dave and Becky are screaming all night long, recording a live feed for you guys from somewhere in this castle. I'm not going to say where.
From parts unknown.
Exactly. And they're horror games is what they're screaming. They're screaming horror games 31 straight days this month.
Yeah, so these Tana leaves are... did you happen to catch that? The Tana leaves are depleting. They're starting to run out of Tana leaves, so I don't know how many more movies they can do.
Boy, that'd be a real shame if they ran out.
I'm sure the Mummy probably has them in his girdle.
They need to get the Tana leaves to the botanist guy from Werewolf of London, and he can plant them in some soil and grow a new Tana plant.
He's been using something, but as for you and Spookarella and Professor So-and-so and all four of the ghouls and ghoulettes out there, you know what to do for the rest of the month. Watch our show and stay spooky.